everybody. All right, so we are trying to recover from having too many live streams scheduled at the same time. Um, I scheduled the members only live stream. I scheduled that. I scheduled the virtual watch party, which is like a pajama party that I'm gonna call it for the Colorado game. And I scheduled today's live stream and it disappeared. It just disappeared. So I had to hurry up and duplicate one really fast right before we went live. So hopefully people will get the notification and join us over here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to What She Said Sports. The move for today is, huh? The move for today is, huh? And what the helly. When it comes to the NBA, it's what the helly. And I just finished a Patreon video to drop after this podcast discussing what I know and what I believe or what I think is happening. And all of the little background information. So as soon as this podcast is over, I'm dropping it over there on Patreon. So it's so much going on in the football world that I'm gonna have to put that on Patreon because it's some other stuff happening over there. And over here, we're talking about, of course, the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders gaining support. But my question is Tua, who's the quarterback for Miami, is he trolling the NFL? And why am I asking that? I had to look it up to see if it was true that Tua said that his height is a factor in his poor underperforming. He can't see over the O-line. So when I had to Google that because I heard it. I know I heard him say it. And I said, wait a minute, did he just say that one of the reasons for his poor performance or underperforming is his height? And I said, how tall is Tua? And I looked it up. Tua is 6'1". Tua is 6'1". And I'm like, so if Tua can't see over the O-line and that's the excuse for his poor performance in Miami, how the hell can Dylan see at 5'8"? Isn't Dylan like 5'8"? So I honestly am starting to think Tua feels he's untouchable and he's trolling the NFL because they tried to get rid of him. They did. And instead of moving off his career path, he decided to stay with a nutritionist who told him pretty much how to take care of himself and avoid these concussions by staying hydrated. We talked about that. But for him to come out and say the things he said recently, like telling what's going on in the locker room. Of course, they're trolling him on like Gridiron Heights and all of these animated cartoons that are out there, talking about him being developmentally challenged and this, that, and the other. And I feel like Tua is trolling the NFL because y'all tried to get rid of me. Y'all thought I was going to be fired after the Browns game. Y'all thought I was going to be benched, but he's untouchable. And I'm like, okay, that's Miami's problem. But what I want to know is if Tua can say that his height is a problem with getting the ball to his receivers, how the hell is Dylan going to be successful? And is that why Quinshon Judkins was expected to be the hero on the offense? So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. There's a banner going across the bottom of the screen with a lot that's going on. Stephen A apologized to Jasmine Crockett. And that's well and good. That's well and good. But you need to, Stephen A, apologize to your beautifully melanated daughter. The same beautifully melanated daughter as like Serena Williams, right? Stephen A's daughter is pretty. She is. I call her little Princess Savannah because I think Samantha, because she's cutie pie. She comes on his show. She's brown skinned, just like Serena, just like Jasmine Crockett. And when you decided to attack these brown skinned, beautiful women, what message do you believe you were sending to your daughter? So you not only need to apologize to Jasmine Crockett, you need to apologize to Serena Williams and every other beautifully melanated Black woman. It's not good enough to only apologize to Jasmine Crockett because you want to be a force within the political sphere. That's just pacifying people or pandering. So Stephen A has moved on to another topic that he seems to feel like he wants to take the lead on, and that's this whole scandal within the NFL. And he warned people that the WNBA might be next. And he seems to be acting as an ambassador for the current presidential administration by saying Trump is not going to spare anyone, but he don't know what's really going on. I'm like, so what's going on with you? Why are you a mouthpiece for this current administration? Why are you bashing Black women? What are you trying to use the current administration's campaign tactics to stoke racism, but this time against Black women? Because how many? 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris. Is that what we're doing? Remember, your daughter's a beautifully melanated Black woman. So what message are you sending to your daughter, Stephen A? That's who you need to apologize to. Beautifully melanated Black women. And this scandal that you don't know nothing about, but you can say that the current administration is not going to take it easy on anybody. Sounds like you know more to the story. So, you know, I don't know. It seems like Stephen A has political ambitions, and that's all fine, well and good. But trying to use Black women to put them in a negative light and try to make them a political punching bag so you can gain favor with who? Your Disney audience? Parents of the kids who watch Disney? That don't go together. Attacking Black women does not go together with Disney. So you need to apologize to Black women, period, for trying to make them a topic, a negative topic for people to hate on so you can curry favor with, I'm assuming, your future voters. But if 92% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris, you're going to need those 92%. Unless somebody going to cheat for you too. So anyway, moving on. It seems to me that there's, like I said, a lot going on. Now, the happiness that came from today is we have a former Colorado Buff that also played for Oregon named Christian Gonzalez. He's a cornerback for the Patriots that the Browns play on Sunday. So let's take a look. I wanted to look at a little bit of his conversation, his interview today, with how excited he is for the challenge of making sure that Kevin Stefanski can no longer brag about Dylan not turning over the ball. So it was funny the way it was said, and people could see he was smiling and trying not to smile, and that the Patriots defense is ready to see how true it is that Dylan can't turn over the ball. So they up for the challenge. So I already kind of have it queued up. So let's just come in here and see if y'all can see my screen, and we'll take a listen. Again, this is Christian Gonzalez. He plays for the Patriots, who play the Browns on Sunday. This game is highly anticipated, not just to see if Kevin Stefanski gonna get fired afterwards, because it seems the Browns intend to lose, but to see what happens with Dylan, who Stefanski has built up as this supercomputer processor, who hasn't turned over the ball, but he omitted the part that Dylan hasn't scored any touchdowns either. So let's just take a listen to this. I think the Patriots are excited. Now, keep in mind, he went to Colorado and then he transferred to Oregon. So between Shedeur Sanders and the Colorado Buffs and Dylan Gabriel or Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks, just take a listen to this. You would think after this, Dan Lanning is calling him up to ask him to take it easy on Dylan. Take a listen.
He's been looking real good. And he just came in and did his thing. Dylan over there, he's making plays. He's has no turnovers. So I mean, that's we want to get the ball off of him, and they got receivers. They got a lot of good skill players over there. So it's gonna be a challenge for us, but we're excited for it.
So everybody is like, okay, this guy looked like when he said, we excited to, the challenge to take the ball off of him, right? So I don't know, y'all might want to watch this game. This game might be one for the ages, right? I have no idea how it is that Dylan gonna come out of this game looking like a hero. I don't, unless he gonna develop some type of Shedeur Sanders skill set overnight. It ain't looking good. It It's not looking good because I'm gonna play it again because you could kind of see, yes, he went to Oregon, but yes, he went to Colorado, and yes, he's a cornerback. His job is to defend, right? And to me, it seems like the Patriots are up for the challenge. Now, I don't know why they chose to ask him. The guy that I have on my thumbnail is number 44. This is a different person. So the reporters know what they're doing by going to the defense and asking about Dylan.
He's been looking real good. He just came in and did his thing. Dylan over there, he's making plays. He's has no turnovers. So I mean that's we want to get the ball off of him, and they got receivers. They got a lot of good skill players over there. So it's gonna be a challenge for us, but we're excited for it. He's been looking.
So there it is, right? Dylan is a target. I don't care what you say. I know he went to Oregon. Again, Dan Lanning probably sent him a text or probably asked him, hey, just for this game, just ease up a little bit. And that's what I want to see, right? I said between now and this week went by fast, but between now and Sunday, I need to watch some Patriots games. And y'all let me know which is the good game to go watch from this season, because I want to see how they play defense before they actually get to Dylan and the Browns. And notice he said, and they got receivers and this, that, and the other. So speaking of receivers, okay, so y'all might know that there's a trade rumor out there involving Shedeur. Now, I want to keep a watch on the trade deadline, which is a week from Tuesday. So Tuesday, November 4th, by 4 p.m., I think Eastern, is the trade deadline. We'd already previously talked about how it is that there's certain players like Jerome Ford, his name came up. The Browns had already a list of players of who they wanted to talk about, right? That they were thinking of trading. They already had one trade with sending Greg Newsome to Jacksonville. They I think, Tyson Campbell that they got back. He already, I think, had an interception. So I can see the defense is already solid and it's being shored up, right? They're working on the defense. But between Dylan and Shedeur, they haven't shown Shedeur to play yet. And notice, Shedeur isn't expected to play until the last 4 games, which is after the trade deadline. So that leads you to believe that he'll be there. Now, I said this to somebody in the comments, maybe Black Diamond. I said, to be honest, considering they insist that Dylan play right now, and the trade deadline is after the Jets game, the same week of the Jets game, and they want Shedeur to play that game, I was like, the person that's getting dressed up for a trade is actually Dylan. To be honest, it's Dylan. Shedeur hasn't even proven what he could do yet. And remember that Andrew Berry said that Shedeur was going to outproduce his draft stock. And I have said multiple times, when, and we have an answer, 4 games at the end of the season, which leads you to believe that Shedeur will be there. Now, that could be a lie. We've seen a lot of lies come out of the Browns organization, and that could be a lie. That could make you go rush out and buy tickets, and by November 4th, a week from Tuesday, he's gone. Or am I putting Dylan out here to move him out? Now, one of the trade rumors that's out there involves the Jets. So we're going to take a look at the Jets. We're going to take a look at the Jets depth chart. Now, we've talked about them before. We've talked about this depth chart, and I said I thought it was strange. And they are primed for a trade, right? Something that I find disturbing about the Jets right now. So y'all know that Justin Fields has, said, he's not stressed about being benched, right? He's going to make the best of the opportunity by spread the word of God while he's on the bench, which makes sense, right? I mean, you just want me to sit here and be miserable. But one of the issues that I have is that the Jets owner, Woody Johnson, has supposedly come out and spoken negatively about Justin Fields. Now, here's what people don't know about Justin Fields. This kid has been sacked when he was 3 years with the Bears, over 100 times in 3 years. The average sacks per game for a quarterback is 2.6. Multiply that times 18 games. And what do you get? 2 times 20 is 40. Okay. So somewhere around 36. Okay. So in his first year, he hit the average of 36. After that, it went up excessively to like 55 for year 2 and maybe 45 or 50 for year 3. And then I believe that Tomlin rescued Justin Fields. I really do. And his sacks went way down. And I think he might have been injured or this, that, and the other. Here's my problem. The media knows that Justin Fields, just like Caleb Williams over in last year, have been sacked excessively. They never talk about it. Number one, they never talk about it. That's how you know that they're aware of it. How can you not be? It's glaring in their stats. And 2, when they pounce on Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, he's trash. They never talk about what negative impact there is to being sacked 100 times in 3 years. And I think it's like 125 times, if we're being honest. It's either 125 or 135. They don't talk about what excessive sacks have done to CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields. And they want to pounce on him because after being sacked excessively as a rookie, this is gross negligence. After being sacked excessively 100 times in 3 years from the Bears and being rescued by Mike Tomlin is the one that they're trying to move out. So Justin Fields jumped ship because he knew his career was going to be toast in Pittsburgh because they forced Russ out. Nobody's talking about how these black quarterbacks are being treated. And this is one of the things I believe God's grace is saving Shedeur from. Because the question was asked before the draft, how many times Shedeur going to be sacked? There are people taking pleasure in watching people like Deshaun Kaiser, Shedeur Sanders, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud be sacked excessively. And right now, this year, Cam Ward is the front runner. So when you a number 1 pick or a first round pick, they make your life hell on the field and you get sacked excessively. And people are saying Caleb is trash, CJ is trash, Bryce Young was trash, Justin Fields is trash. I don't want Shedeur to get out here and get sacked excessively because I feel like that's what's waiting on him because the Rams game. What you saw happen to Shedeur in the Rams game is what happened to every aforementioned QB. Every last one. The fact that these guys can still pick themselves back up and have dignity and not be mentally damaged neurologically by this. It's crazy because this don't happen to white quarterbacks. Now, right now, Cam Ward is the most sacked quarterback. Drake May, I think, is number 3. The second quarterback, I think, was also black. And then it was Drake May. And then it was Jalen Hurts. You heard me right? Jalen Hurts. And I said this year, I said, I'm not used to seeing Jalen get sacked like this. He just won the Super Bowl. They dismantled his team. And now he's being sacked excessively. But if I put Drake May in there, it can't be racism. But if out of 10, it's only Drake May and Justin Herbert, is it racism? Especially when there are 16 black starting quarterbacks, which means half are black and half are white. Why aren't there more white quarterbacks? So when people trash Justin Fields, it should be a reminder that the Chicago Bears should be sued for workplace negligence. That kid had to be extracted from there for those sacks to stop. So yeah, Mike Tomlin rescued Justin Fields. And it's possible Mike Tomlin could rescue Shedeur. You know why? Because today, Aaron Rodgers, who feels like he's entitled to have a choice, 24 hours after it was said that Pittsburgh wants to keep Aaron Rodgers. You know what he said today? I would like to retire a Green Bay Packer. Just one more run with Green Bay. So basically, he done told Pittsburgh, I don't want to come back here. I want to go back to Green Bay. So he want to move Jordan Love out his spot. He want to move Malik Willis out his spot. So a black quarterback gonna have to suffer for Aaron Rodgers to get his way. This is exactly what happened during free agency. Russ was booted out, basically, of Pittsburgh and forced to go interview with two teams. Can you guess who they were? One was the Cleveland Browns. Then he had to fly over to New York. And New York was dragging their feet, waiting on Aaron Rodgers. While Aaron Rodgers sent the message, if you get Shedeur even at QB2, I'm gone. And they didn't get Shedeur at QB2, and now he talking about next year. He gone. They should have never invited him back because he had domestic violence allegations. I guess that don't matter. When you're trying to hold back the number of black quarterbacks, I can use Aaron Rodgers as a stopgap. That's what it's given. And the fact that Cam is the most sacked QB and they supposedly went out and got an O-line and they calling him trash. He has to weather that fight. And I know some of us don't like the way Cam was with Shedeur. Believe me, he has learned his lesson. I don't hold grudges like that. Because what I see them doing to Cam is what they're going to do to Shedeur. We want Shedeur to get out there and play. Shedeur think he want to get out there and play. You see what happened with the Rams. That's what's going to happen. So with the trade rumors coming up, with Shedeur going to the Jets in exchange for a first-round wide receiver, you really think the Browns going to exchange Shedeur Sanders, franchise QB, that they were going to pay $46 million? Instead, they got him for $4 million, $900,000 this year. They really going to trade a franchise QB for a first-string wide receiver, which means they don't believe the receivers they have are good. So as you can see right here on this list, let me know in the comments what you think about that. What you think about the trade rumor. There's only 2 quarterbacks in the Jets organization. We've talked about that's strange. They should have a QB3 because QB1 was hurt. They still have a QB listed as questionable, which means they got 1 quarterback. So right here, Cam Ward sacked the most through 7 games. Then we have Justin Fields. This kid should be broken inside. And that's likely what led him to God because he refuses. He's a competitor. I'm not going to let you break me. I checked his contract. It said his 5th year option showed declined. But he came in with Trevor Lawrence, and Trevor Lawrence's was extended. You don't hear nobody talking about Trevor Lawrence, but look at how they're trying to abuse Justin Fields, whether it's verbally, emotionally, or physically with these excessive sacks and giving the Bears a pass. So as you can see right here, Drake May is the 3rd most sacked QB. And I said, well, if Drake May is the 3rd most sacked QB through 7 games this year, maybe the defense can win the game. But I know one thing. If Shedeur Sanders was the quarterback QB1 for this game, and it could happen, they're going to win this. They can win this game. If he's been sacked this many times, Drake May, against Myles Garrett and the Browns defense, holding down the Patriots, and then you got Shedeur Sanders at QB1 with Quinshon Judkins at RB1, with the wide receivers I know Shedeur could throw to, whether it's Gage, Judy, Isaiah Bond, or anybody else, the tight ends included. They can win. But I'm not sure if this game is intended for the Browns to win. See, people are now calling the NBA rigged. I don't think the NBA the only league that's rigged. This game is very, very important. People are saying betting has ruined football. You know what's ruined football? You know why it's in shambles right now? And we're not talking about financially. Because they got people they're going to show up regardless. It's in shambles due to racism. I've said that before. People think you mean financially when you say the NFL is shambles. No, scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal, which makes me beg the question, how the hell is the WNBA next after the NBA and not the NFL? I wonder what they had to do to get that off of them. Because you're not going to tell me that going after these leagues is a coincidence and the NFL is not on that list with what has just transpired with Shedeur Sanders. That's the first league that should be on the Department of Justice list for racketeering. It should make you wonder. Because the NFL moves like there are zero consequences, that they have no one to fear, like who gonna check me, boo? And with these scandals coming out like this, and supposedly the WNBA is next, how can they escape the purview with real discrimination, real scandals? So on this list, you see Cam is up here at the top. You hear how they are trying to destroy Cam's reputation. We shouldn't have drafted him, etc. I'm like, you know what? Y'all should have just kept Will Levis. That's what you should have did. And nobody forced you to draft Cam because you made the decision at the last minute. Oh, wait, they did force you to draft Cam. That's why the head coach, just like Jeff Fisher when it was Vince Young, the owners make the decision to put these players on the team, and then the coaches mistreat the players. Same thing with Shedeur in Cleveland, except it wasn't Jimmy Haslam. And maybe this is how it is. I escaped this purview. You gonna tell me they're not due for an investigation? Come on now. With the way these black quarterbacks are being sacked excessively, yeah, I see Drake May in there, which means the Browns should go in and win this game. And if they truly want to win, Shedeur should be the quarterback if the win is important. But it could be more important for the Browns to lose and to let Drake May move forward. I don't know how talented Drake May truly is. And then who else is on the list? Super Bowl quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Now, you know that shouldn't be like that. Through 7 games this year, he's being sacked excessively. 2.6 times 7 is not 21. And he just won the Super Bowl. And he's black. And then who else is on the list? Then it's Justin Herbert, the Chargers. So half the quarterbacks are white, 32 divided by 2, 16. But when it comes to who sacked the most, instead of half and half, 3 white, 3 black, it's only 2 white ones. What does that say? Especially with Cam Ward being drafted number 1. Justin Fields had already been sacked excessively for 3 years. The only time he wasn't sacked excessively was in Pittsburgh with a black head coach. What does it say? It says the NFL should have not escaped the list that the WNBA is supposedly on with the word next adjacent to the league's name. So when you look at the trade and the depth chart for the Jets, which Shedeur supposedly going to the Jets, they write for a trade. I'll give you that, right? The person that they are proposing that is traded is wide receiver right here, Garrett Wilson, questionable. Now, I thought you couldn't trade people if they were injured. So why him? I don't know. But you could see this team is injured, right? You could see Tyrod Taylor is the backup, but he's questionable. So they need another quarterback. They need another quarterback. And I have said it before, when we looked at this depth chart earlier, they should have a third QB here. And the reason they should have a third QB here is because at the time, Justin Fields was questionable because he had the little injured toe or something earlier. So they're intentionally not having a third person here is neglecting this team. And then everybody else is starting to fall injured. So yes, this is a team in a mess with a black head coach that I don't believe, even though they like him personally, that they want him to succeed Because look at the roster and how hurt everybody is. How is he supposed to win? I don't think they want him to win as a black head coach. They might like him personally. But when it comes to increasing the numbers of black head coaches, I don't care what your name is. The NFL doesn't seem interested. In fact, they're trying to whittle away. And it was said before Aaron Glenn even got to the preseason. It was said once he became a coach that he got 2 years to get it together. Justin Fields got another year. This is supposed to be Justin Fields' prove me year. If I'm Justin Fields, I hope you got money in the bank, sir. Go do something else. I'm just saying. When that contract is up, rather than go to Cleveland and sit on a bench or go somewhere and sit on a bench unless you're comfortable with that. Oh, being sacked excessively over 120, 130 times in your first 3 years, including your rookie year, and the only way to make it stop is to get paired up with a black head coach. And then they strip him of his power and boot Russell Wilson out to Cleveland, who Cleveland don't want him, and then deny Mike Tomlin the opportunity to draft Shedeur by lying about Shedeur, who's also a black quarterback. So Justin Fields sees this and he goes to the Jets, becomes QB1. We want to see him win. He's already sacked excessively, number 2 through 7 games, and nobody talks about how that's being sacked excessively is the negative impact to this young man's career. And who the whole responsible about it? That never gets discussed. It's shame on the owner who knows better than I do that Justin Fields has been sacked excessively with the Jets, and sacked excessively with Chicago for 3 years in a row. Shame. For speaking out because he's gravitated to God. Being sacked excessively over 150 times in your very short career will move you to God. This is why these players need to sue. So Justin Fields, be done after this. Because the longer you stay, statute of limitations will expire. I think they got like 3 to 4 years, which meant he's already been in the league 3 years. Pittsburgh was 1 or 2. And now the Jets, and it's happening again. You don't think that's giving him PTSD for him to be sacked excessively after coming to the Jets with a black head coach, which is probably why he moved over anyway. If I had to guess, because he saw what was happening to Mike Tomlin. And it's like the NFL sending a message out, not so fast. And he's being sacked excessively, so he can't escape it. What else do you want him to say? You want him to beg you to stop sacking him excessively? What is the NFL going to be held accountable for this? Starting with the Chicago Bears. And I want you to know, you already saw it with Shedeur, which is why I said, as long as Kevin Stefanski is the head coach, no. Because it's going to happen. Because clearly he has the ability to convince a goon squad to allow the quarterback to be sacked, just like Justin Fields, just like Caleb Williams, just like C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud has a black head coach. It didn't help him either. If it was supposed to. And maybe that's the point for these quarterbacks to think that there is nowhere that they can go to escape persecution, because that's what it is. And I ask you again, how the hell, knowing what you right now, does the NFL escape being on that list? So this team is ripe for a trade at quarterback. They should have already had a third here, because if you already looked at all the other teams, they should have a third here. It looked like they're going to let number 1 and number 2 languish. It looked like they're going to let the team languish. Woody Johnson don't have nobody to be upset with but the commissioner of the NFL for allowing this team to look raggedy like this. This is where the commissioner comes in and says, hey, you are not in compliance. You're supposed to have a third quarterback because you only technically have one because the other one is injured. And when Tyrod Taylor played, somebody came in the comments and said he got laid out flat on his back. This is intentional. Let's see what happened with the Patriots game. If they will allow the Browns to sack Drake May. If the Browns will allow the Patriots, or the Patriots will allow their defenders to sack Dillon. Because Miami donated that game. Tua telling you he's 6'1" and can't see. So how the hell can Dillon see? at 5'8". So the Jets are right for a trade. Shedeur, it seems like if Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl and he can't escape being sacked excessively, if Cam just got to the league like Caleb Williams did last year and they can't escape being sacked excessively, the only thing that's keeping Shedeur from being sacked excessively is Shedeur being QB2 and Kevin Stefanski being stubborn, which could be God's grace for you. Because I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen to him too. He's going to be sacked excessively, which is why I say, hey, let him play so we can assess this O-line. Dylan was sacked, what, 6 times in one game? The average is 2.6. 6 is excessive. Then now, the last game, only sacked once. So they're getting it together. So let's see what a real defense, not Miami's defense, but the Patriots defense. Let's see what the O-line looks like to determine if we really want Shedeur to get out there. One, with the state of the O-line that had Dylan sacked 6 times. And 2, with Stefanski as the head coach and or the play caller. So let me see what y'all are saying. I had something else I wanted to share too. I saw Colorado's, before I get there, I saw Colorado's, how do you say it, injury list? Did y'all see Colorado's injury list? They said Colorado's injury list actually looks like the players are redshirting or holding out. So let me show it to you. So that they gonna report. In other words, they've chosen not to play. They've decided to redshirt so they can just wait for the portal. Because the portal was supposed to open this fall, but they changed that. So it's like now they're supposedly waiting until they get to January, which is kind of crazy. So remember Coach Prime had a video, scrimmage for people. We saw on video. Oh, hold on one second. We saw a scrimmage for people which we said was nice, right? That it was nice for Coach Prime to have a scrimmage for players that were hopping into the portal. This is it right here, guys. So as you can see, let me make sure y'all can see my screen. As you can see, Colorado is to the left. So I'm getting ready to expand my screen. Let's see. This is Colorado right here. Posted Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I'm going to, this is a lot. This is Utah to the right. They have 1, 2, 3. Quarterback Devin Dampier. So that quarterback is questionable. Wide receiver Tobias Merriweather and defensive tackle Dallas Vacalia. So here's the thing. That might work to our advantage. But look at who we have. Wide receiver Hakeem Williams, who I saw play for a little bit. Safety Terrence Love, who I don't really know who that is. Running back DeKalen Taylor. That's disturbing because I was hoping he could come back already. Safety TJ Branch. I sure hate that. I don't even know how he get injured because I thought he only played like 1 or 2. I don't even know if he played a full game, huh? Then we have cornerback Kyle Carpenter, running back Simeon Price. Again, hate that. Tight end Savell Smalls, wide receiver Carson Westbrook. Not familiar with Westbrook, number 36. Look at all these O-linemen. Phillip Houston. Now Tyler Brown is injured again. Tyler Brown, this is his. Either he redshirted and he's going somewhere else his last year. But I don't know. And then is this Yo-Yo, number 59. He's injured. And then O-lineman Cooper Lovelace, number 70. Then number 74, Aki Ogumbigi. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an entire O-line. Even if it's second or third string, that's an entire O-line. And then we have wide receiver Jack Hestra, defensive end Samuel Okanola, defensive tackle Tavion Coleman, and defensive tackle Garvel Lightfoot. Now that's who's out. How many people is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You got 17 people out. That's a whole depth chart, right? Doubtful is number 5, RJ Johnson. So doubtful Wide receiver number 5, doubtful cornerback number 5. Questionable, Nikhil Webb-Walker, Anna Quinn Barnes, and Tawfiq Thomas. 3 defensive players are questionable. Maybe they could play. Probable, Tion Parks, Carter Stoudemire, Braden Keith, Reginald Hughes, Amari McNeil, and Brandon Davis Swain. That's a lot of people. And this game is in Utah? Is this game in Utah? So they already probably traveling, what, tomorrow? Or today, maybe. So y'all see this list. Now, here's what people are saying. That the guy right here, Terrence Love, is somebody that they are expecting to redshirt. That the rest of these players may also be doing the same thing. We talked about the portal in January. Luckily, I don't see no quarterbacks on there. We talked about the portal in January. When they made the change, we said there probably would be a good number of people on it. If this list is truly an indicator of that, then that's about 17 people, maybe 20, 25 get ready to hit the portal. That's a lot. I can see it. It's consequences. That's just what it is. Hopefully the recruiting is coming in and it's not going to be, an impact that they could feel. So that's the injury list. We still watching the game. It's a pajama party. We wearing our pajamas. Game come on at 10 o'clock. I'm still rolling with the Buffs. I don't see none of our quarterbacks on there. People can stop asking about Juju. And he posted a picture of his little girlfriend. They look cute. I ain't want to post it though, but it's cute. And then it looks like Kata may have possibly posted his girlfriend, maybe, or sister or mama or somebody. I think I saw his mama, so I know that's not his mama. But he said it's his wife. So all the guys seem like they starting to post their little boos, which is cute, right? And y'all know Juju, came in young or whatever, but he a college student now. So him and his little girlfriend, they look cute together. And I'm still rolling with the bus. I don't care who hopping in the portal. A lot of people say this year's team don't feel like last year. I'm like, yeah, there's a couple of reasons for that. And I'm not surprised that there will be some kind of fallout from earlier this season. So, and all these players want to play, so you know how it go. They hop in the portal in January. Maybe they can get picked up somewhere else. Maybe they can get some money, that kind of thing. So it is what it is. Just the nature of the business. But it was good for Coach Prime to put together a scrimmage for players that haven't played, that's thinking of hopping into the portal or got very little playing time. Most coaches not doing that, right? I'm reading stories about coaches setting up players, changing their grades, and all of this. And see, we don't hear about the scandals that the coaches, the owners, and all of these other people have. It's always the players, right? You always hear about the players. What about the coaches that's out here changing players' grades so their transcripts, hopefully they can't get accepted to another school just because they want to leave? What about these coaches recruiting these 5 stars and because they throw one interception in practice, they got to be benched? A 5-star? That's devaluing talent. That's exactly what the NFL is doing to Shedeur, and he didn't throw no interception. It's happening in college too. Why we don't hear about that? It's always the players. I think the players have been abused enough. Hey, everybody, how you doing? So we over here in the comments now. Grand evening. It said just like the administration exhausted folks in 10 months, the Browns have matched the exhaustion gap by 4 months. Right. Hey, old man 803, hype me up. Yep. So hype me up while you in here, whether it's the hype button, subscribe, like, share, whatever it is, just hype me up. Thank you so much. And let's see, Elaine. Yes, that was Elaine that said that. It said, how's everyone doing? We're doing pretty good, Lawrence. What's your name? Lawrence Pryor Bay. What's your last name? But welcome. It said correction in only 4 months. Yeah, it's been a minute. It said Browns are overly exhausting. Yeah, they are. That's why you got to talk about something else. It said, good evening. Oh, I know what I want to tell y'all. So I was watching Destroying, right? And I said, Shiloh need to hook up with Destroying. First and foremost, we've talked about these guys having their own league. Technically, Destroying has his own league. I watched him with the one-on-ones. Now, He has a 3-on-3 league with Cam Newton, but y'all know Cam Newton is linked up with BET and ESPN, so I don't know how far Cam Newton can go. But I watched the video where they had Bills wide receiver Keon Coleman out there, right? So Shiloh could definitely, whether just for content, start going to those one-on-ones and start participating in the one-on-ones. And what I'm noticing is the guys will do 7-on-7s. They'll do 3-on-3s. They'll do one-on-ones. And the NFL has noticed too. And you know how I know? Because Destroying was asked to be a mascot for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not to play. And he's a kicker. He can play. A mascot. Now, for somebody that has technically amassed an audience that could fill up a set of bleachers on one side, and I'm not kidding, has 2.3 million views or 1.2 million views on each video with these exhibitions. If Shiloh get out there and they play a 7-on-7, that's the only thing I haven't seen them do. They play 7-on-7 with the high school kids. It's like they skirting around it. And I haven't read anything that says that they can't do it. I have no idea why Shiloh and Destroying don't get together and play 7-on-7 themselves while other people film and get the content and stream it. Shiloh say he try to get 300,000. This is what's needed, fellas. Stop skirting around with the 1-on-1 and the 3-on-3 and leaving the 7-on-7 for the high school kids. You bringing these NFL players out here? Put them out there with the 7-on-7. I love to see it. And stream it. Why not? Stop skirting around it. You this close. You this close. And Shiloh need to be out there. I love the food tours. I said he should. Jackson State is playing Grambling in Las Vegas. He should be there filming that. He went to Jackson State. People besides myself have said it would have been great for Shiloh to go to Jackson State homecoming. Facts. Get on it. They playing in the Las Vegas Bowl against Grambling. That's your alum. Go there. Get that content. You want to get 300,000? You're almost there. Go get that content, Shiloh. Go get that HBCU content. And then come back and link up with Destroying and move past 1v1 and 3v3 and 7v7 for high school kids. 7v7 for adults. Tell me it wouldn't work. When I saw the crowd for Destroying at the one that was, I don't know, they kept saying they had a guy out there that won in 2 other cities. I was like, it was already people in the bleachers because they were already 1, 2, 3, 4 deep at a parade all the way around the field. So if they were in the bleachers, then I saw, and everybody else saw what the NFL saw, which is why they asked him to be a mascot. That's a slap in the face. He's competition. So come on, be a mascot, but they're not asking him to play. And how many viewers does he have per video? 2 million, 1 million, and you don't ask him to play and he can? So you want to invite the competition into your house to be friendly with them so you can coax them into giving up the market share that they have. They this close. Just play 1 7-on-7 game. Shiloh, get out there. Chidozie, get out there. And it's over. That is the beginning. And that popped up in my feed. And I said I was going to share it with y'all because y'all need to see this too. We keep saying they don't never start their own league. He did. He did. And how did Destroying get his start? He was in college and the NCAA told him it's either your YouTube channel, which was monetized at the time, or it's your scholarship. He took the YouTube monetization. He was like, okay. And it seems like to me, that's what blackballed him from the NFL. But he made it to the UFL as a kicker. And then he got these leagues. And like I said, he just partnered up with Cam for the 3-on-3. And now the NFL want him to be a mascot. for a day for Jacksonville, but they didn't invite him to play. So that tells you they don't want his talent. They want to make sure he don't make it to 7-on-7. That's what that is. That's what you call trying to walk. That's all it is. So let me show y'all this. Oh, and he went to London with Gunner, and they played in the NFL celebrity flag football game. Remember the celebrity flag football game Shedeur was at, but he couldn't play because he was waiting for the draft. So they knew he was famous, so they wanted his views to come. Where I Show Speed was a captain, I think, and Kai Cenat was a captain, and Shedeur was supposed to play. This was in New Orleans Super Bowl weekend. They had this one in London last week. So they already played a game over there. Then they had this, and they invited him to play in the celebrity flag football game because he has views. Just like Gunner, they have a following. So the NFL wants his following. So they invite him, they acknowledge him as a celebrity, just like they did Shedeur. They know he's an athlete. They know he's in the UFL. They know he's a good kicker. Does he get a tryout for the NFL? No. But I bet if they start the G League, they'll invite him so he can stop with his league, whether it's 1v1 or the new one that's 3v3, because they this close to 7-on-7. Let me see if I can share this with y'all. And you know what? He keeps this content. His content goes back 6 years, 15 million views on one video. It lets you know the NFL don't want famous players. They don't want famous players. But it's okay for you to come be a celebrity and me get your audience, but not for you to play in the league. Why not? It said my first practice as a pro football player 1 year ago with the UFL. That video had 1.2 million views. 1 year ago, it's finally happened. It looks like he's showing like a jersey for the UFL. 2.3 million views. That's crazy. It's crazy to me that somebody can have this kind of audience. They could be athletically talented. You could bring them into the league with your views. I don't want that. I just want you for the celebrity game to bring the league exposure with flag football ahead of the Olympics. If his last name was Manning, it would be no problem. That's how you use people. That's how they use people. We don't value you. We just want your clicks, just like Shedeur. But we don't want you to play for us. We just want you to bring us exposure for flag football because we're going to play in the Olympics. This man has 15 million views on one video for football. And you want him to come be a mascot of the Jacksonville Jaguars for a day when you know he can play pro ball. And you tell me that ain't shiesty. I mean, it just kind of speaks to what's also happening with Shedeur, right? That's the same thing. Like, we don't want you to be that for us. So let me let this commercial expire, and I am going to share this with y'all so y'all can see for yourself. I don't even know if the video that I was looking at, I don't even think it was. It's just another one. This one he has 6.3 million subs. This video was 23 million views. Jeez. That's why they invited him. Because he got rapper numbers. I don't even know if rappers got numbers like that. He got numbers that are better than rappers. That is a person that can start their own league because he already has. He already has, y'all. And he had NFL aspirations, but it's like they only invite him for content. So maybe if Shiloh go out there, they'll invite him to come back for content. What y'all think about that? All right, this is it right here. All right, let me know if y'all can see my screen. This one had 23 million views. I think this was 3 years ago. It don't matter because hell, the other ones look the same way. So he was paying. It said he pulled up in a mask and torched everybody one-on-one for 10,000. So Destroying has had one-on-ones for a minute. But at some point between the 6 years, there was a Glacier Boys that I think he started with the rapper who was in Migos, out Quavo. And they had a 7-on-7 team, but again, it was kids. It was called Glacier Boys. So he delved into that. You could tell he wants to own a team of some sorts because I guess that one went away. And now he has a 3-on-3 with Cam called they had a Scary Hours tournament, right? So these people, you see they out here in the rain. Look at all these people. This is a whole field. This is rain. This is rain all the way around the field. So there was one that I was looking at today. I think Keon Coleman was in there, and he had the same thing, but it wasn't raining. It was people all the way around the field and in the bleachers, which means he's growing. He can't even stop doing this because it's too lucrative. And this is what I mean by if you just go out here and play, people will show up. People know where to show up because he talks about where they're going to be. He has a faithful following. This video got 23 million views. Do you know that's the same number of views as one of the NFL games had that the women's NCAA championship had when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark was coming out? When UConn won? He has those numbers. He's his own entity. And he's an athlete. And they invite him to be a mascot for a day. So Shiloh just needs to show up with Destroying. And these guys need to just play 7-on-7 because I don't know what's holding them back from 7-on-7 with adults. I really don't. It's like they keep skirting around it, but they don't get to it. And I feel like maybe Destroying has hopes that the NFL will invite him to try out for the NFL, so he don't want to mess that up, I guess. But I don't know how you would mess up an NFL tryout if you running 7-on-7 and they playing 11-on-11 or 12-on-12 or whatever they do. And this is in the rain. This is in the rain. 23 million views for one-on-ones. And I'm telling you, this young man already has his league. And players like Shiloh and Chidozie need to reach out to Destroying. And Shiloh just start a 7-on-7 team, and they need to play. You have to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, I'm going to do my own thing regardless. A 7-on-7 adult league is needed. If all they're going to ask you to do with 23 million views on one video, 15 million views on another video, 6 million subs is invite you to be a mascot for a day or use your views for their flag football team to raise awareness before they get to the Olympics, and they know that you are an athlete because you were just in a pro league as a kicker and they don't invite you to kick, just make your own decision and grow and expand. Scale your league to 7-on-7. You're going to have it. You already got an audience. It's just going to keep growing. What do y'all think about that? Let me know y'all's thoughts. All right. So back over here to the comments. I had to share that. All right. Because I had to share it because we have been saying nobody will start their own league. Okay. He did. He did. And we said Shiloh could start a 7-on-7. He don't even have to. Just go over there with Destroying and it's going to happen like that. Take Chidozie with you. It's going to happen like that. I think it should be 11-on-11 myself, but there has to be a reason that they're skirting around an adult 7-on-7, knowing that you already have an audience. See, when you start a business, the goal is to get an audience. That's what everybody spends so much money for. He already got a built-in audience. And I'm sure those people out there would love to play 7-on-7 for him. And why hasn't he done 7-on-7 when you see what goes on in NFL? I don't know. But it makes me feel like waiting for a call from the NFL might have something to do with it. And he did get a call, but it was to be a mascot for a day. See that right there? Would have made me. I need 14 of y'all to come on out here who want to play 7-on-7 today. That would be step one. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. So I'm going back to y'all's comments now. There's a lot of comments. So I'm just saying, we've been talking about that. And when it popped up in my feed today, I was like, oh, I got to share this. This guy already has a league. And I said, I had an aha moment. I said, this is why they asked him to be a mascot, because they don't value him at all, except for clicks. And he got to be one of the few black kickers that the NFL would have, right? How many black NFL punters, kickers are there? I would say field goal kickers or punters or kickers. To my sit down, Stephen A. Right. It said Tua definitely has CTE. You think so? That's what people were trying to say. They were making fun of it, but you really think? I mean, he might. He might. They said he was 1 or 2 away, concussions, 1 or 2 concussions away, and I don't know. But the way he talks, like the things he says, people are like, huh? So maybe. Weird behavior is definitely, odd behavior is definitely one of the signs. It said they need to take the mic away from Tua. Maybe so. And maybe he already showing signs of it and he don't want to let his career go, but his health is going to suffer. It said these people will toss Stephen A aside when they have used him up. He's just a token. That's how he's acting. It's like, and the same thing with Stephen A is what I'm talking about with destroying, but not destroying is being a token at all. He definitely got his own league. He just need 14 people to come out them stands and play 7-on-7 and keep streaming it. And then they'll ask him to come play in the NFL. So Stephen A already mentioned his political aspirations. It seems like now, since he got blowback from black women, he suddenly is taking on the ambassador role of, oh, Trump ain't playing. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be running against him? I'm like, bruh, the question you should be asking is, how is nobody looking at the NFL? Because this crazy. I'm like, okay. It said, who is advocating for Tua to be tested with CTE? It said, simply saying, take the mic. I mean, listen, Tua has a contract with the NFL that they had to put in place for the NFL to protect itself against Tua getting more CTE claims or whatever it is that they do. So they put something in place. But it's odd to me that McDonald, the head coach, don't even want to protect his own quarterback who's exhibiting odd behavior. To stand up there and say, when you're asked about your underperformance, well, my height is an issue. I'm like, you 6'1". How is it not an issue for Dylan? And that's why I said Tua is trolling. I really felt like that's what he's doing, because the NFL tried to get rid of him. And then he signed this, they wanted him to retire. And I guess maybe his lawyers was like, you can't force him out of his career. So they came to an agreement with this document. He started the season by saying his neurologist told him how to take care of himself, but his behavior is odd. And you would think with them losing that they would care about their quarterback and say, look, we're losing anyway. You just go ahead and sit down and put Quinn Ewers out here. It seemed more important to hold back Quinn Ewers because he went to UT with Arch Manning and Sarkisian didn't want to bench him than it is to worry about Tua's health. And Tua got to worry about his own health too. How you doing, Turner? How you doing? It said, Stephen A said he wants to run for president, and Paul F., ESPN analyst, he running for senator. This is why these athletes can't get a break. Too many politics. Interesting. So Paul Feinbaum want to run for senator and Stephen A want to run for president. So Stephen A running for president, is he running as a Republican? He must be, because he out here stomping. So I'm like, oh, you running on the Republican ticket. Maybe he want to be the vice president next year. He got something going on. Because for somebody that's running for office, he could have made a statement about he could have provided some type of insight about what's happening in the NBA. But instead, he was like, Trump not playing. I'm like, I thought you was running against him. You know, I believe Stephen A said nobody is safe except Dana White. He's about to rip Dylan a new one. You talking about Christian Gonzalez? Yeah. It said they won't fire Kevin during the season. I don't know what, I'm gonna be honest with you. The Browns might do anything. The Browns might do anything. The moment they stop taking up and try to blame Shedeur for Kevin, then they gonna be done with Kevin. All you gotta do is listen to the narrative. As long as I'm throwing Dylan under the bus and trying to say Shedeur is coming along and getting ready, which they have been called a liar by a lot of podcasters, and a lot of people in the media have called out the Cleveland Browns for being a liar. They just not listening because they still on that agenda. Like the guy said yesterday, like I said, they was always gonna pivot. I said it's crazy to me that they devalued Shedeur, got him for $4 million, and don't want to use him. But what did y'all point out? They do want to use him when the weather's bad, when most of the players are banged up, at the harder stretch, the more difficult stretch. So, and what did we say? 72 hours ago, it was Shedeur playing 4 games. Then 48 hours ago, it was Shedeur playing after the bye week with the Jets, which is 2 days before the trade. Sunday is the Jets game. Tuesday, that following Tuesday, is the trade deadline. Don't know if that's just talk about him playing for the Jets, but we do know that the trade deadline will come and go before Shedeur plays the last 4 games. Getting in with the Jets would be a surprise, and it would make me think they might trade him by 4 p.m. 2 days later. So we gotta keep our eye on that. And to be honest with you, I would say Shedeur going to the Jets is better because Aaron Glenn is back, but Aaron Glenn being black doesn't help Justin Fields. CJ Stroud, head coach, is black. DeMeco Ryans is black, and that ain't helping CJ Stroud. So that tells you that it's either the OC and some linemen. It's particular plays that they call. It comes from the right side. Look for it this Sunday. That's exactly what has happened to Jaden Daniels. Now they asking, is Jaden Daniels having a sophomore slump? I said that was going to happen. It's actually predictable. And the fact that it's predictable, looking at the right side, knowing the OC, it happened at Colorado. They did it to Caden. The defense is the one that had to pull it together for Colorado to win. So for Cleveland to win, it's going to have to be the offense can do what they can do. And then it's going to have to be the defense, right? We're not playing competitive football where the players have to try to overcome the rigged play calling to get the QB hurt. It already happened at Colorado. So we're going to have to see what the play calling at Colorado looked like for this week, because who are we playing? Utah, who's ranked, who has something to lose. And there does seem to be a push to try to push Coach Prime to the end of the Big 12 so they can say, see, you wasn't worth $10 million. And then the boosters, $10 million this year, and the boosters go run and get $54 million. Best believe when they got $52, $54, $56 million to pay that black coach at Penn State, believe me, that was a message. Understand, that was a message. And y'all know who the message is for. That man wasn't even on no top 4 most influential coaches list. It said everyone is going to figure out how to play Dylan Gabriel. Right. And what did Christian say? You know, he said, they say he hasn't had any turnovers. We want to get the ball from him. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good game. I'm like, this is going to be interesting, right? And Stefanski is an instigator because he out there, yeah, Dylan hadn't had any turnovers, but you're not going to talk about that he didn't have no touchdowns either, which means he's not good. So you selling Dylan like a car salesman, like a used car salesman. You selling Dylan like he a 1969 Pinto and the floorboard is missing, but you want to talk about the paint job on the outside when I'm going to need the floorboard to drive the car. That's what Stefanski is doing. And that's why I question. I'm like, I don't think Stefanski really liked Dylan. I think Stefanski sees Dylan as a tool, a wedge, like we have said. He makes Dylan believe you my boy. He treats him like a pet, but he keeps throwing him into the fire and like, let me see if you're going to learn how to sink or swim. But then he lying about his skills. I'm like, it's not helping to keep telling other teams, he hasn't had a turnover, it's like you're putting out red meat for sharks. I don't know if they eat meat, but I'm just saying. Okay, a bear. So I'm just saying, it's like you putting honey out there so knowing some bees gonna come get it and sting Dylan. I'm like, if I'm Dylan's family, I'm like, I don't think he like you, son. I think you got to be careful, just like Shedeur got to be careful. We'll see what Dylan picks up on. One commenter said, "Oh, they're about to destroy Dollar General." I thought I would die laughing. I was like, there are people actually calling him Dollar General and Lil Dollar General on the internet. He should have made friends with the receivers. That's all I know. I'm like, kind of late. It's kind of late. So maybe they thought trading. How could you go trade Shedeur to get a wide receiver for Dylan, and that still ain't the fix? You gonna trade Shedeur to get a wide receiver for Dylan, and then what? And then what? So that's the proposal, to trade Shedeur, who's supposedly a 5th round draft pick, for a 1st round wide receiver. I don't know. It said media train, like Prime says, always lift the opponent up. Yep. It said because they definitely not good. It said he can't stop smiling. It said they see food. Right. That's what I said. And people were like, y'all dumb. He's smiling like that because he went to Oregon. I said he went to Colorado first. I like he went to Colorado first, and he ain't smiling like he went to Oregon. That's why I think Dan Lanning somebody gonna reach out to him and say, look here, I would need you to chill out on Dylan. Because remember, you did go to Oregon with us. I'm like, but he went to Colorado first. So he went to West Shedeur with the school. He played for the opponent. He is a defender. He should annihilate the Browns offense. And he's not the only one. There's somebody that's on my thumbnail, number 44. He up there too. I was like, they must have a lot of defenders. So I said I was going to watch the Patriots play. Let me know if y'all watch any Patriots game this season, which one you thought was good. Let me know, and I'm going to go watch the highlights. Shout out to the 229 in the chat. Thank y'all so much, or just watching the podcast, or however that go. But thank y'all for 229. So it says, I bet Shedeur told him to intercept everything. Yeah, that's so funny to me. That is so funny to me. It says some teams want Shedeur just based on his college tape. Right. And that's how you know there's a moratorium on Shedeur and who can get Shedeur. If this was a fair fight, Shedeur would have been gone. Shedeur would have been gone. Remember the first week, they finally let reporters watch OTAs, and reporters walked away, including Browns people. The only one lying was Mary Cabot. Remember, reporters were saying things like, he was a 5th round pick. He would have been gone then. Now, remember, Shedeur said, he could see light at the end of the tunnel. Now, that could be playing 4 games. That could be playing, including the Jets, or it could be a trade. And Woody Johnson hating on Justin Fields, I could see them sending Justin Fields to Cleveland. Not that I want him to get hurt. In fact, I don't think he would ever touch the field. I think they try to humiliate him by putting him behind Dylan. So I could see the swap. I could see it happening, but would it be QB2, or would it be QB3 behind Justin and Tyrod, who are also black? And then Shedeur become a triplet. Remember, I've already talked about all of this. I talked about how the Jets depth chart is missing somebody, because when you have an injured QB, whether at QB1 or QB2, you have a QB3, because you can't just have one. Leaving that team like that is trying to ensure the team doesn't function properly. They have a black head coach. Shedeur going there for a wide receiver, for anything, would make him QB3, which is putting him down one, or making him QB2 and pushing Tyrod Taylor back to QB3. And that's to hurt him, because he's suing the NFL or the Chargers because his lung got punctured, and that's supposed to go to court late October. We already damn near in November. So there's some movement there. And when somebody said he got laid flat on his back, I already knew what time it was. It's called retaliation. So that's the perfect team based on the NFL's mentality for Shedeur to go to. There's already 2 black quarterbacks. Put them over there. Tyrod Taylor suing us. Move him to QB3. Shedeur go to QB2. Then we could get this receiver, and maybe Dylan don't have to worry about chemistry. And Dylan can finally make some explosive plays with this receiver that we bring over here. It fits. It fits. But I could also see the Browns going, I'm not giving y'all to Shedeur for no receiver. He too good for that. But you can't play before Dylan. Yeah, I can see that too. Let me know your thoughts. It's that all my years in sports, I've never heard of someone lead off giving QB props with no turnovers, but also no mention of touchdowns or yards. Plenty of players with no turnovers simply because they haven't played. Right. It said, is the collusion over? I'm just sick of this. We gonna see. By the time the trade deadline comes, we will see. And if Shedeur is still a Cleveland Browns, we gonna see what these games look like that he get in. In other words, are they letting him play at the fourth quarter, or is he gonna be the starter? They have to let him prove himself. They've said that Dylan could play the whole Miami game because they didn't want Shedeur in because now this Dylan's game, and I'm like, okay, let's see if Shedeur get that. This game gonna be interesting. I might have to watch it. I feel like God want me to watch it. I'm not lying. I know y'all like, what? I do. Because when I saw Christian Gonzalez and I found out he went to Colorado, I was like, oh, I think I'm supposed to watch this game. I was like, something tell me, I think you want to watch this game. And I told y'all, I think Shedeur might play. And then I put number 44, who was a defender, a linebacker, and I'm like, and then now here come Christian. I'm like, I think we better watch this game. I think I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna have to see if I still have access to watch it. I should though. He's halfway trolling. Yeah, he halfway trolling. It said that's why I was never a fan of rushing to get Shedeur Sanders to play before he was ready. It's not about Shedeur being ready, CJ. Shedeur was pro-ready when he came through the door. The Carolina Panthers told you that. It's also obvious that the Browns refused to develop Shedeur. Shedeur is ready when he left CU, which is why he was going to be the number 2 player off the board to Cleveland. Something else they don't talk about, right? Now, all of a sudden, he making this progress and Dylan still look the same. It's because they both are still the same. Dylan wasn't good coming out of college. He was propped up because he went to the Manning Passing Academy. Always the Mannings around when it talk about a situation where Shedeur was mistreated. I just find that very, very interesting and do not think at all the slightest that is a coincidence. At all. When I said the mission is to hold back the Sanders agenda for the Mannings, and everywhere that Shedeur has been blocked, the Mannings are, including Cleveland. Very interesting. It said, yeah, the trolling is off the chain. It said that might happen being, though the NFL did not get found guilty of colluding Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, no telling who else and what they did, the ultimate with Shedeur, the NFL going to be broke. Eventually, the way things are today, they may not be tomorrow, and everybody want to kiss up right now. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Okay, that's all I can say. The way things are today, they may not be tomorrow. It said, I think the Jets have a rookie as well. Are you talking about a rookie QB? It said, I don't think any team will risk any cap space for the Jets offer insufficient leverage to pull the trigger before November 6th. Okay. Oh, they talking about trading Jerome Ford. Said the Browns want to trade their running back Jerome Ford. So they moving all of the older players they had out the way. Like they got rid of Nick Chubb. Now they moving out Jerome Ford. So maybe gonna get somebody to compliment Quishon Junkins because he likely gonna get hurt if he the one that got to do all the work. So it said good old boys network always. Yep, that's facts. It said the NFL logo is the shield. Facts. We talked about that. Facts. It said 2021, 36 sacks in 12 games. Yep. That's facts. Justin has been sacked excessively. They don't talk about it. That is gross negligence. That is workplace negligence. And it is used as a tactic to hurt these first round black quarterbacks. There are 16 black quarterbacks that start and 16 white quarterbacks that start. But the majority of the players that have been sacked excessively are black quarterbacks, in particular, first round through fifth round or 1 through 10 in the first round. This is no coincidence. Tuna, hey Tuna, how you doing? It says 55 sacks in 15 games. That's a lot. And 44 sacks in 13 games. Jesus, that's a lot. That is a lot. And they don't talk about it. No reporter asked Justin Fields at all about how the sacks being sacked excessively has affected you. They didn't even ask Bryce Young. I'm gonna tell you what they asked Bryce Young. Did he have any words for Shedeur Sanders? He said no, he got plenty of experience of his own. Now, what happened to Carolina? They fans didn't show up. If that happens to Shedeur in Cleveland, they fans better not show up. They showed up to watch it happen to Deshaun Kaiser 15 weeks. And they kept showing up. I'm like, what are y'all showing up for? So I say no. I say until Stefanski's gone or off the property, I mean, get your shit and go. I mean, that's what gotta happen because Shedeur's gonna end up like Justin Fields. Shedeur's gonna end up like Geno Smith. Shedeur's gonna end up like Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jada Daniels, Jalen Hurts. You see where I'm going with this? You see where I'm going with this? It said, I said it the other day. They made sports gambling legal. It was going to be a mess. Yep, people have said that. They said it's funny how the players are going down and the coaches going down for gambling when there's a gambling ad in your face every other day, and they're not gambling on their own games. They were just somewhere gambling off property. Now, the story about what's happened again, I'm going to drop this Patreon because it's something else going on here. It's a couple of things happening at one time, right? It makes me think about a hurricane. It makes me think about when a hurricane like Katrina forms, right? It wasn't the hurricane itself that did the damage. It was what they did after the hurricane and the rain stopped that caused the damage. In other words, this could have been avoided. That's what I'm saying. It said 2024, he was sacked 16 times in 10 games. That's better. 2025, 22 sacks in 6 games. That's crazy because in 2024, he was in Pittsburgh, wasn't he? 16 sacks in 10 games. And then with the Jets, which is 2025, he's already sacked 22 times in 6 games. That's more than he was sacked all last year. Here's the thing. They want to write Justin Fields off. They want his spot. It's 16 of 32 black quarterbacks. I want Jalen Hurts spot. I want Caleb Williams spot. I want Shedeur spot. I already took Shedeur spot. I already took Jalen Milroe spot. Now I'm coming for the guys that are still in the league. I want Bryce Young spot. That's why all you hear is the black players are trash. I'm like, wait a minute. Wait. Hold up. I don't hear y'all talking about Trevor Lawrence. And that's a travesty over there in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league and is contracted to Jacksonville till 2029, and they wonder why they can't sell no tickets. Who want to pay for that? And then they got Travis, and they want to cut Travis's playing time at critical moments so Trevor can have all the glory. The NFL don't know how to get out of its own way. I want to get Travis at number 2. But hey, don't let him play on this play right here. So you didn't really get Travis so you could win with Travis because you want to win with Trevor. You don't want to win with Trevor and Travis. You want to win with Trevor. You got Travis at number 4 when he really could have went number 1 because Tennessee didn't want Cam anyway. So that pick could have been traded to Jacksonville. But it so happened to be traded to Cleveland, who was courting Shedeur for $46 million. But I forgot. We got Deshaun Watson. Go ahead and trade the pick. Not a coincidence. Shedeur is wearing the number 12, which is Travis's number. And Travis got Shedeur money. And now Travis has limited playing time. That tells you what that was about. Hurting Shedeur. The whole damn draft was about hurting Shedeur. That's what they're doing in Cleveland every day. Hurting Shedeur. And now trying to pivot so they can exploit Shedeur and hurt him some more if he's sacked excessively. That ain't going to be easy to watch because you're going to know what time it is if it happened. It wasn't easy to watch with the Rams. I didn't watch that. I saw it and that was enough. It's not like I look at the highlights of the Rams preseason game. I do watch the highlights of the Carolina's Panthers game because Shedeur plays some damn good football. But that's not what they want with Shedeur. They want to treat Shedeur like they treat him destroying. We know you could be successful, but we just want your likes and clicks. That's a message to Black NFL players, period. They don't use y'all in the ads because y'all don't have no followings. So they go get I Show Speed and Kai Cenat. Like I say, they could get it done. They could get it done. They this close. They are this close. All Destroying got to do is grab 14 people out of them stands and play a surprise game of 7-on-7 because it's hella people around there with cameras to stream it, and they would love that. Why not? I guess we got to wait for these guys to decide when they done waiting on the NFL, I would assume, because, I mean, if you don't work for them, how they going to stop you? ESPN was broadcasting the NBA games, then deleted the gambling stats for next games at the bottom of the screen. That's crazy. How you gonna sit up here and blame somebody? And you know what? You got to fact check everything. Like I said, I'm going to drop that video on Patreon. I'm going to drop it on Patreon. That's why I did it. I said, let me get it out before I start my show because to get to the topic that I had already decided on. I think a lot of y'all are already over there on Patreon, so you should get the notification right after this because it's already downloaded and ready to go. It said Justin Fields has been done wrong his entire NFL career despite showing elite talent and athletic ability. Right, and nobody will say it out loud. It's like that's the elephant in the room, but they keep attacking him verbally, emotionally, and now they're mad because he decided to gravitate towards God when that's exactly what you should do when you have been sacked excessively. And the people you work with made sure it happened and they act like it didn't happen and you trash. You gonna run to God when that happens. Luckily, Shedeur moved toward God before it happened, probably because of what was happening at Colorado. What's happening to these guys in the NFL is exactly what happened to Shedeur at Colorado and what they try to do to Caden. It's the same thing. That's why I said Cleveland is just in Colorado. So, you know, that's a good one, Donald. I'm going to put a star by it so I can grab it later. Thank you, Tuna. I appreciate you. What's up? We need that hoodie ASAP. Yep, I saw your order come through. Shout out to Tuna. So you're going to have to send us some pictures. Everybody that bought something, can y'all email me a picture, y'all, in it? If you don't want to put your face in it, crop it, or if you want me to crop it, let me know in the email. I want to start a hashtag, we see you, what she said sports, .com customers on my Instagram. So, Tuna, I saw your order today. So look for your notification that is shipped probably the next day or two. And I think Clara got hers. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. It'll be great for us to do like an in-person with everybody with their gear on. I think that's be special. So you never know. It might be at a protest or something because that's the way it's going. Not like for politics, but like for Shedeur. For Shedeur. So shout out to Tuna. Thank you for becoming the latest customer for What She Said Sports. It said, we got to show all the Black QBs that's been shafted. Right. I was thinking about that today. Was that you in the comments that said they wanted me to do a shirt with all of the Black quarterbacks in the NFL going back to Marlon Briscoe that have been mistreated by the NFL? You know how you put it. Yeah, I'm going to look into that and see how I could do that. I think that would be nice, right? And I just kind of hate that those guys, for what, I don't know why, they got a class action lawsuit. Hell, Shedeur got a class action lawsuit. Shiloh probably got one too, right? Different situation, but then if you maybe could look at the Sanders versus the Mannings, maybe it's class action with just the family, right? Coach Prime does too. And I think a lot of people want to do something, but they're waiting on the Sanders because we know they're well connected. And we're like, okay, well, if they haven't done anything, maybe they don't want to hurt the opportunity or they just waiting on God. So we wait on God. Am I right? That's just what we do. In the meantime, we keep watch. We talk, about what could happen. And the whole trade deadline has been popping up. And I was like, I could see them dressing Dylan up right now to move Shedeur. But then with the whole narrative of the Jets game opens the possibility to let him play that one game. If it don't go well, he devalues his trade stock and they boot him out. And that's how you can move him to QB3 with the Jets. Set him up in the game and he don't look good. So we shall see. I don't know. What do y'all think Dylan's trade value is? Because They talking about trading Shedeur for a first round wide receiver, but he a quarterback. I think they value Shedeur more than that, to be honest. Even though they don't want him to play QB1, they not dumb. They don't want Shedeur going to another team that could beat Cleveland. He probably got to get the hell out of the division and the hell out of the conference. And probably, like I say, be a triplet on a team that's not a threat, which is the Jets, right? What do y'all think? That's Shedeur's trade value. What do you think Dylan's trade value is before we even get to the Patriots? Like right now. Do you think they could trade him for a third round pick or a fourth round pick or a second? Damn sure not a first. I don't really think a second. I don't even think they could get a third for him. I think it's obvious that he's not a third. I think he a fifth round pick. That's what I think. I'm not being funny or petty. I think he probably a 6th round pick, to be honest. They traded Flacco for a 6th round pick. So between Dylan and Flacco, who's the true 6th round pick? Because Flacco just went over here and balled out as a starter. So maybe Dylan is the 6th round pick. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right. So it says, I'm a Bears fan, and the Bears absolutely did feels wrong. Right. That's why I said that I believe Mike Tomlin rescued him and Russell Wilson from Denver. And that's why I believe they stripped Mike Tomlin's power because they didn't want him to rescue Shedeur. That's exactly what I think happened. It said, it looks like they quietly moved Jaden Daniels out the way for Mariota to face Mahomes for the Monday night blockbuster feature. Right. So Jaden would not defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. Right. Mm-hmm. And to me, they held Mahomes back a little bit, so he got to fight his way out of the division. I believe injuries are faked all the time. Yeah, I think so too. It said, what you said, sports, didn't you say Justin Fields was trying to escape being drafted, or was that another black QB? No, that was Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was trying to escape being drafted by the NFL by going to the UFL, which just mentioned they got 2 teams that they are shelving. So they started to crumble. Caleb Williams, not Justin Fields. No, Justin Fields had to be punished in 3 years. And why? What did he do other than be drafted high? Is that his fault? It's like the NFL is like, oh, so you want to be drafted high. They said that about Shedeur. As they said, as high as Shedeur wanted to be drafted. This ain't no want preference. This is a competitive league. He was being drafted high because that's where his skill set matched. And it's like with Justin Fields and Bryce Young and Caleb Williams and Caleb and Bryce winning the Heisman, Lamar Jackson, all of them were devalued. They couldn't devalue all 3 of them in the draft, right? So what did they do? They had Bryce Young and Caleb Williams sacked excessively. CJ Stroud was first round pick, sacked excessively. Jaden, his knee is hurt, and now Marietta got to go, so they moved him out the way. Luckily, his mama watching. I wonder how many times he's been sacked. Because that's one good thing. Now, he could pick his own girlfriends. I'm not going to give her that. He's capable of picking who he want to date romantically. But always being present and a watching vocal, like T. Higgins' mom, which is how he got his contract, I advocate for that. That's where you need to be as a mom, not picking his romantic partners. There ain't nothing wrong with Juju. I could see if he was getting one of them Insta girls or something. No. We talking about Juju here. Come on now. And put them tatas up. There's no place for that. Especially when you out here, trying to represent your son, right? So I like her speaking up after he went to tunnel. They kept trying to say, oh, he gonna be like RG3. She said, hey, don't be putting that on my son. I'm good with that. That's the part that you're supposed to do. But he can pick his own romantic partners, right? And RG3, he shouldn't have anything negative to say. See, RG3 and Cam kind of got the same problem. Their careers got disrupted. And sometimes I think they're a little jealous of people like Shedeur and others who can go on and they take on the persona of the NFL to display their jealousy, whether they know it or not, right? Maybe Cam is better now since he got BET and he got ESPN and he got his 3-on-3 and he got about 3 different channels, right? Cam Newton, 4th and 1, and more Cam Newton. So he might be not feeling like he's in a place of lack. So he might not be so jealous because he did stand up and say something against the NFL while he was on ESPN, and I don't think he had to walk it back. I think it was after the Rex Ryan situation. Absolutely bum coaches, right? And they just friends of friends, and a lot of them are not good coaches. See, the black players got to come into the NFL and be perfect, but then they go hire the Schumers and the Stefanskis because I know your daddy, and then they blame the players, and the players get sacked excessively because they so damn top tier talent, and they can't just get rid of you because then you gonna run off and like destroy and have your own league. But if I sack you excessively, I'm gonna disrupt your career. You ain't gonna be good to nobody. That's the sociopath. That's the psychopath. If I can't have you, can't nobody else have you. That's what it's giving. And if it happened to Caleb, if it happened to Bryce Young, if it happened to Lamar Jackson, he wasn't sacked excessively, I don't think, though. I have to look at his numbers. They humiliated him in the draft. Does being humiliated in the draft excuse you from being sacked excessively? And I said this was going to happen to Cam. I said the players that don't get humiliated in the draft, the black quarterbacks in the first round, they get sacked excessively, and he has joined that club. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It said the Bears owners and management is on par with the Browns historically making all the wrong moves and decisions. Yeah, Donald, because people talk about the Browns having a revolving door for quarterbacks. Guess who has the second revolving door? Revolving door number 2, the Bears. To leave Justin in that situation for 3 years, allowing him to be pummeled that way. Tuna, do me a favor. Can you add up those numbers you sent for Justin from exclude, you can include if you want Pittsburgh, but for Chicago, the 3 years, you could go ahead on and put Pittsburgh in there. And then now the Jets. Can you add up those numbers and tell me what that is and how many years are we talking? That's what, 3, 4, 5 years. Let me know. He should be at the end of his career. And the way that they are kicking on him, it's like they want to push him out. Fine. And they want to give his spot to a white quarterback. They want to push Shedeur out. Give his spot to a white quarterback. See, it's not enough that in the draft they hurt Shedeur so they could stop at 16. It's like they willing to burn it all down to make sure there's not 17. And what happened to Shedeur is the display of that extremity of what it is I'm willing to do to make sure we don't get. It's like if they get to 17 black quarterbacks that start, it's like they feel like they all gonna mentally combust. It's like they can't stand it. But you keep drafting them. Let's see who get drafted in 2026 in the first round. You see how they talking about Dante Moore? Okay, we're going to see. Look at Cam. So being the first pick, it don't mean they want you. It mean they want to get you draft to destroy. That's what it means. That's why I said leave Dante Moore and go back to school. Go back to school for one more year. It said the whole team is injured. Yeah, talking about the Jets. How do they expect to win? They said his roster was trash. And that's what that must be what they meant because everybody's injured. It said I keep hearing Juju is going to the portal. I mean, he might. I mean, look, there's going to be some consequences for what happened between Georgia Tech and last week. It's just going to be some consequences, and people just got to put their big boy panties on and deal with it. Underwear, sorry. You just going to have to deal with it because there's going to be some consequences from that. There's going to be some fallout from that. You crazy if you think that there's not. Because I remember, just because we passed it or so we think. See, we think we passed it because we had a bye week. If Pat Schumer still calling the plays, it's on. Because Utah is ranked and probably want to stay ranked, and they're going to prioritize Utah over Coach Prime. It said, looks like Schumer succeeded in ruining the team. Yep. Justin Fields should just retire at this point. That's probably what he's going to do. And you know who else need to retire? CJ Stroud. It said, we haven't been respectable for a long time or respected. It said, Yaya was just dancing on Shiloh's stream. He ain't heard. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. You think he gonna leave? Do you think he gonna leave, Amber? I don't see him leaving, but then again, cuffing season, that's hilarious. You talking about the guys with their girlfriends? Yeah. Is CU winning this Saturday? Ooh, feel free to drop your prediction. I say yes. CU, who do we beat last? Who was the last team we beat? Iowa State? Yeah, because they were ranked number 22. We get ready to play number 23. So, yeah. And we could have beat BYU. Y'all know Georgia Tech still undefeated, I think, or did they lose yet? Every time somebody say that, I just go, So we gonna see what's happening. I saw Pat Schumer running around there trying to hug some of the players. We gonna see. We're going to see. Destroying came to JSU. Really? Oh, when Travis was there. Yeah, because he boys with Travis. Yeah. That's true. That's true. I would be so proud to see Shiloh and other black men start their own league. I mean, they kind of already got one. I hate to say it. They this close. Tell me I'm wrong based on what you saw. 23 million views. That's more than the NCAA Women's Championship. And I don't even think the men's got that number. That's more than an NFL game. That's why they asked him to come be a mascot for a day. I know Travis is his boy, right? But you asked me to be a mascot. You ain't asked me to come out here and try to kick and get on the team and help the team win. You sent me to London to use my 6 million subs and 23 million views. That's enough for me to go. I need 14 of y'all who want to play 7-on-7 and just stream it and don't say nothing. And then after the first one, then the next one, we going to have on the same shirt because they just be out there in their clothes. Right? They asked him that for his views, but understand, they see what a lot of people see when they look at his page. He technically got his own league. The NFL don't have numbers like that. How many people watch the Panthers versus the Browns? 1.9 million? Deshaun had 24 million views. That's a threat. He better watch his back. That's all I'm gonna say. He better watch his back. But I think they trying to pull him close. You ever been in a situation where you and a girl introduced herself to you? And I'm talking to women, guys. I'm sorry. And fellas, this might happen with y'all with dudes, right? Let's say you dating somebody. And then suddenly you meet this chick or whatever. And she want to be friends. And y'all, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Y'all, you seem cool or whatever. She start coming around. Y'all start hanging out. And then, she find out who you dating. And then she start maybe down talking this dude or whatever. And the next thing you know, you find out she like him. She came to be friends with you so you could push out for him and she could get him. The NFL and destroy. Fellas, y'all probably in that same scenario. You might be dating a girl and another dude try to be your friend, but really he want to get to her and want you to move off of her. So he coming to try to, sneak in like he your boy, but at the same time, he ain't your boy. He just wants you to let go of what it is he wants. The NFL and destroying. Dude is this close. And he just got engaged. Beautiful ring. Because he got the money. And he bought 2 Fat Tuesdays franchises in Arizona, which means he's smart fiscally. He this close. Destroying, if you ever see this video, please get 14 people out of your audience and play 7-on-7 just one time. Just one time. And then in week 2 or 3, put on some matching clothes. And then week 4, put on some matching shoes. And watch what happens. The fields he plays on, he probably don't even be able to use no more. But they got fields elsewhere. He got enough money, he can go buy 200 acres. Or maybe know somebody with 200 acres. Coach Prime. And play there. Tell me I'm wrong. This close. It said they want your culture capital, but not your voice. Right. I only want you to contribute. That's like Shedeur. Like, you know what? We know you good. We know you can bring money. We don't want you to come on in. They don't even want his culture capital because they know he gonna get the credit. They don't even want to give him the credit for coming into the league ready to go. They don't even want him showing up the rest of the other quarterbacks that are not black. That's probably why he's not playing against the Patriots. If Drake May is the 3rd most sacked quarterback, is the Patriots really good? Is Drake May really good or is the defense good? I might have to go watch their games. Let me know if there's a good game to go watch. If not, watch them the first 6, the highlights from the first 6. Exploitation, that's it. It said, since they think they're better than us, because that's what it is, we need a black league. Fact. And destroying, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Destroying has a very diverse audience. This close. This close. And since he's obviously business minded, he could do it. It's the reason why he hadn't. I pray he does, because he this close to the pen. I just need Shiloh to go out there one time. Because Shiloh going out there would expose destroying league to a different audience that might not know about it. Now, football players, I think, know. How many of y'all in the comments already knew about destroying not just a YouTuber, but what he had going on and at the level that he has it, the market share, the audience that he has? Technically, he got his own league that has better numbers than NFL, and he's streaming. But they asked him to be a mascot. I was literally watching your live stream last night, and my other screen had Chauncey Billups calling plays. Now he in the same box as the Sopranos. Yep. That's going to be interesting. Like I said, Patreon. It said they can't discover CTE until you die. That's true. But it's something, right? That, remember, there was a lawsuit. The NFL settled the $1 billion lawsuit because they were denying rewards or awards for CTE for black players, but they were approving the awards for CTE for white players. You have to go look it up. So it's something they can figure some things out. And maybe that was to pay for some kind of health care. And while it is documented, you have to have your brain studied after you die, which I think it might be kind of a ploy to push off the numbers of CTE, because not everybody's going to do that. Like the guy that just passed, I wonder if his family is having his brain studied. Because remember, his teammate from the Bucks had CTE. They tested his brain after he died. So to me, that's just one way to push off the truth, to say that you have to wait until after you die, because the lawsuit, they wouldn't have paid $1 billion lawsuit. They wouldn't have settled that if, they weren't guilty of something, right? So, and that had everything to do with race norming and CTE. It says Stephen A. pulling a Cornell West. It's all about the money. What? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's crazy. It said maybe they are marketing Dylan. It said maybe they're going to trade Dylan. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I don't know where he would go. I said, it seems like to me, with Shedeur playing after the deadline, with Arch Manning not coming out of school, supposedly, it seems to me the pivot towards Shedeur is playing, number one. It was performative, what Haslam did. And Dylan is the one before the draft, if Shedeur really plays the last 4 games, that can be evaluated, that other teams can look at his, which could explain why Kevin Stefanski is lying. Because you're not just lying for the sake of lying. You're lying for a reason, because everybody else can see, and it makes you look crazy. And it's like he's a used car salesman selling me a 1967 Pinto. It's just tore up in the middle. And you want me to believe it's this great vehicle because you want to sell it to me. Trade. And then they say Shedeur could play with the Jets. He only gets 1 game. And they already said we know Shedeur going to outproduce his draft stock. They also know Shedeur is better than Dylan because they're working too hard to hold him back. So when Shedeur get in versus the Jets, who haven't won anything, maybe 1 game, have the Jets won a game yet? They dead last in their division. If somebody else calling the plays and Stefanski don't set him up and it turns out to the Carolina game, by Tuesday, I'm trading Dylan. And I'm getting some wide receivers for Dylan, or I'm getting an O-lineman for Dylan. And the most I can do is hope for 3rd round value, because really he is a 6th round. If you trade Flacco as a 6th round and he go over there as a starter, you trade Dylan as a 3rd string at the most. I don't know what you're going to get, because you need some linemen. I think the receivers can catch. I keep telling folks Little Dollar General is going to end up doing Lunchable commercials with other people. Yeah, he might. He might. It said Mary Kay said they're not trading Shedeur. Uh-oh. See how they want to hold on to Shedeur. Of course. They got them a $46 million quarterback for $4 million. You crazy if you trade him. You are nuts if you trade somebody that you know can help you win. You just might not want to win this year because, y'all done talked about it. Go ahead on and let Drake May and them come out. We'll catch y'all next year because I do think that that's what they do. They are clearly not competing. They colluding behind the scenes is documented. Telling the new owner of the Broncos, you can't pay Russell Wilson all that money because then we're going to have to pay our quarterbacks that money. And they don't want to pay the black quarterbacks like that. Not even Lamar Jackson. But they okay with paying Josh Allen $330 million to be in second place. But they don't care this year because who's in first? Is it Drake May or is it Daniel Jones? They so excited that Daniel Jones is at the front. They don't even care that they paid Josh Allen $330 million. They so excited that Drake May is at the front. You think it's a coincidence there are 16 black quarterbacks? And if there are 8, you got 2 conferences, 16 black quarterbacks, and they all at the bottom except for Jalen Hurts that they working on because he's the second most sacked. Notice Jordan Love wasn't on the list. And what did they say before the season started? The Green Bay Packers going to the Super Bowl. I'm like, and how the hell do you know that? He not on that sack list, is he? Jalen Hurts is. They lost to the Giants. Stay tuned. All right, so we're going to get ourselves out of here. Catch some of these comments at the end. It said, I think it's going to be a lot of surprise wins. The mob just got pinched. What you mean by that? Aurelius, let me know what you mean. It said when they banned the mob guy from the Eagles games, I knew it was coming. Okay. So they already had some talk. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so let me go. I gotta go drop this video on Patreon. Then I gotta go learn some more. Then I'm gonna come back to Patreon. We talking about this issue on Patreon. So join us over there at What She Said Sports on Patreon if you haven't already. If your notifications are not on, turn them on. I'm getting ready to hop off here and go drop this video. Gotta go look into some other stuff because Gilbert Arenas, right? I need to look into some other stuff and I'll be back over there. I want to talk about the potential connection to Gilbert Arenas. Remember, he got arrested for the gambling thing. And now this is happening. But what happened after Gilbert Arenas got arrested? What did I point out early this week or late last week? Why does it seem like he turned his channel over to the NFL? Let's talk about it. See y'all on Patreon. All right, y'all, let me get out of here. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Y'all have a good one. I'll be commenting on Patreon. See y'all later. Have a good night. Back tomorrow, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.